welcome to this continued series of questions to try and help kids support them in the transfer test. In this particular one, I'm going to look at verbs, nouns, adverbs and adjectives so that children can understand what they mean and how to apply them when on a sentence. So in this particular question, I have, it says there are 4 words, teacher, reminds, carefully and difficult, that are used in the sentence below. And the sentence is, the teacher always reminds us to think carefully before answering difficult questions. And what you have to do in this particular format, which is pretty standard, is down the left hand side you've got those 4 keywords. Across the top you've got verb, noun, adjective, adverb. And what you have to do is put a tick in, the one that is the verb, the one that is the adjective, etc. So, if we take the first one, the first learning point, which really, you can start to see that these are going to start to build up, maybe worth getting a notebook and jotting down all the learning things that you need to know. The first learning is a verb, is a doing word. So, the child must understand that that's what a verb is. It could be past tense, it could be played, it could be future tense is going to play, or it could be current tense or present tense, which is playing. So it's about doing something. So in this particular example, we've got the teacher reminds us to think before answering. So those are all verbs and they're all doing words. So in this particular case, then we can clearly say that reminds is the verb. So that is where that comes from. Then we've got, moving on to the next one, we've got a noun. So what is a noun? It's a person, it's a place or a thing, and that's on a kind of basic level, if you like. And in these particular questions, that is what you'll have, a sort of very standard noun being asked for. So in this particular example, we've got 2 nouns in there. We've got the teacher and the questions. So they're things. They're some kids remember as things you can kick. You can't kick the questions, but it's a solid. That's not a very good example. But the teacher, and you wouldn't be suggesting to kick the teacher. So in that particular example, you've got 2 things which are nouns, and therefore you can tick that the teacher is the noun. Then you've got, let me just take those out. Moving on, then we've got adjective, which describes a noun, and we have adverb, which describes a verb. Now, I probably think it's fair to say that kids get more confused with regards to these two words over the noun and the verb. They after a bit of practice, they do get used to what those actually are. Excuse me. So in terms of the adjective and the adverb, those are the things that I think are worth honing in on a little bit more. So one describes the noun and one describes the verb. Seems straightforward, standard enough. Let me just give a wee bit of a... Seems straightforward enough. But if a child is sitting there struggling, if they see the word adjective and thinking, oh, how am I going to remember it? How am I going to remember it? Is that the one that describes the verb, or is that the one that describes the noun? I think if you just look at them, look at the 2 words. So you've got adjective versus adverb. The ad is, there's where similarity lies. They both have the word ad in front of them, and in Latin that means belong to, and in this case it's describing one or the other. But inevitably, if you look at what the adverb is describing, it's kind of got the answer at the end of it. It says it's the verb. So by definition, if the child's ever confused, if they think, well, it can't be the verb because the adverb describes the verb, so it's got to be the noun, the adjective one has got to be the noun. So on that basis, we're really looking at the adjective in this particular case. It says the teacher reminds us to think carefully before answering difficult homework questions. So the difficult is the adjective because it's describing the homework questions. And the adverb then is the carefully, because it's describing how we should think. So I hope that helped. I hope it made a bit of sense. I think for me, it's about learning what those 4 types of words actually mean, but also really truly understanding what that means and then putting that into practice, and that will deliver the results. Okay, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe so you're made aware of any future YouTube videos, and I'll look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.